We live by great reviews, and awesome reviews means that everybody's happy. That means your content is flowing, the content is converting. And one of the best compliments that actually we received from one of our customers was that, hey, Freud, the information is clean, concise, it's very relaxing, and it's almost, they almost wanted to call it sales at scale, which means that if you write concise, clean content wherever you publish it, you're going to have a chance of creating what I call sales at scale by creating a central repository of content that millions of people can see. So I wanted to illustrate how minifying your content can actually bring a lot of value to you, and I'm specifically in these examples as for technical writing or for people who need to write matter of fact. And believe it or not, this style of writing or minifying your content attracts more audience. Reason why it does that is because there's factors that are involved in too wordy of content. Number one, suggestion on how to minify your content in order to present it more concise is to actually write it in present tense if you can. If you're trying to create a fictional story, chances are that you're going to write it in past tense, once upon a time, for example. Present tense tends to be a bit more to the point. You'd be surprised, but the majority of technical writers have that matter of fact style because they have to write it in a specific process or an application, for example. And at this point, I think writing factually for you will be a winner. If you can, write it in present tense. The exactness of your content can influence how minimal look it can feel and be. Examples of past tense and present tense and how it could affect the content and the way that it's being delivered is, for example, I'll give you one, right? We create engaging content for users. The content converts more and more activity. As opposed to saying it in the past tense, which is we created engaging content for past users, the content filled users with emotions. Also a true statement, but because you're saying it in the past tense, it might lose a little bit more credibility. You want to stay current. Advice number 2, write in active voice. Make the subject the super driver of your content. Making the mistake of writing in passive voice is a common one. It's very simple to fix though, and in the stage of rewriting content, you will find that it's not that hard to actually accomplish. Examples of converting passive voice into active voice. An active sentence, for example, compressing images is Antonio's least favorite activity. Let's take that for example. Compressing images is Antonio's least favorite activity. If you want to say that more active, you would say something like Antonio's least favorite activity is compressing images, where the active sentence conveys the message a lot more concise. The text is cleaner, you put a little bit more focus on the subject. Number 3, you'll hear this a lot, explain it like an 8-year-old. And when I was a sales trainer one time, and a user, one of the sales reps that I was training said to me, look, I don't want to use that style because I don't want to insult the people that I talk to. Believe it or not, the higher you get in the hierarchy of a company, the simpler you want your messaging to be. 1, you're understood a lot better. And 2, they also appreciate that you're taking the time to make it simple to understand. Remember that quote from that great thinker that if you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. And that was said by Albert Einstein. This is the very reason why we should be explaining things simpler. Because the more words you use, the higher the chance of confusion and the least likely you are to build trust. You've heard it a million times. I don't trust that person because they're very salesy. I don't trust that other person because they're using a lot of flowery words. And this is one of the reasons why we want to use simplicity in our wording. Lastly, the 4th step is rewriting all the changes that you want to do with a little bit more creativity. I know I understand I'm sometimes in the same shoes where trying to accomplish simplicity, trying to accomplish conciseness, minifying your content, and also keeping it creative is actually not an easy task. But the comfort that you get from all this is that you will have returning customers and returning visitors because you're creating engaging content that is easily understood, which I'm hoping you do. Come back for the next one of our videos here on how to make or how to help you understand UX design a little bit better. I'll drop some links at the bottom so you can also go through some of the content on our site, and maybe you can understand what we do a little bit better, maybe appreciate it, and maybe use this as a service. But look out for our next video on more tips on UX design. I hope to see you again soon.